Hello, this is Greg Oswald, Green Greg's, coming to you on the 29th day of September 21. Time on deck is 22:04 hours Central Daylight Time. The United States, indeed the whole world, is on the verge of an economic train wreck of the sorts we've not seen in this generation. This is major, and it is due to a multitude of problems, including the breakages of supply chains, shutting down of manufacturing, and political decisions made from China to the United States. It's a multitude of factors contributing to this and are just getting in motion. And it includes many things. We're going to go into this a little bit here, guys. And I'll bring you this news because it's my proposition here to survive, thrive, and stay alive. This is part of my eyes wide open and head on a swivel series, guys, so that you will know what could be coming at you. And this is going to be almost impossible to avoid. The question is, how big a train wreck do we have coming at us? It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. When you look at the number of ships, cargo ships off the coast, that's just part of it, guys. There are so many cargo ships off the coast of America. There are factories shutting down in China. Factories will have to start shutting down in the United States for lack of parts. And then on top of that, there's the political elements. Political decisions being made in China, being made in America. And this could shake and bake far more and far deeper than we even care to think about. So, ladies and gentlemen, you really need to get prepared now. You need to think about it. I'll bring you a lot of videos telling you how to get ready, how to grow your own food, how to eat wild and free from the weeds and the trees. But, you know, guys, you better prep too. But first, I'm going to say to get all my notifications for these videos, subscribe to my channel, bang the update notification bell, and click all to get the notifications for these videos I'll be coming out with, because there's a lot more coming up. And my friends, you better prep. You better get ready. You better get it while the getting's good, because the supply chains will be shutting down and the availability of things is going down. And prices are going up. They're going up fast. So let me tell you right now, I got a special for you. $100 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts 3-month supply, that lasts 25 years or more. Now, 3 months is 6 of these boxes. Yeah, this is a 2-week box. This is 2 weeks. You get 6 of these with $100 off, my friends. Or you can also get a 4-week supply. You go to prepwithgreg.com, prepwithgreg.com. And oh, by the way, it's kind of a time-limited timer on there, I've noticed, with a countdown. So I don't know how long this is going to be available, guys. You go to prepwithgreg.com. You can see this is through My Patriot Supply. And there is a timer on this. I don't know if they're going to extend this deal. Sometimes they put these timers out, they extend them. And sometimes, well, that's it. Because everything, prices are going up. So you better get it while the getting's good. But guys, this is real food. Let me just show you. Yeah, that's what we're looking at, bear shelves, right? And I'm talking about bears that walk on 4 legs. So guys, I kept telling you, this is real food. This is what it looks like after it's constituted. I'm gonna have to do a video making it. Real food, guys. It's dehydrated, which means it's lightweight. And it's easy to, but it's easy to carry around, easy to store. You got this great thing in this, this breakfast, lunch, dinner, 2,000 calories a day, make you order, but it's lightweight, easy to store, and great buckets, guys, which have other uses, many other uses after you get done using the contents therein. It also comes with a nice little pouches you can throw in your backpack. Okay, enough of that, guys. Go prepwithgreg.com and check that out. So what's happening? Supply chains are breaking down. A lot of it is due to labor shortages, but there's other things too. That's not all. There's energy shortages popping up. There's part shortages popping up, which threaten the operation of factories. There's many things coming together in almost perfect storm that portend to perhaps wreck economies around the world. There's a lot of suffering starting already, but it can escalate, especially with things coming up. And on top of that, you've got this possibility of Evergrande, a big real estate property company in China that may go, may falter, and that could have global economic effect. The United States, are we going to improve the debt ceiling raise or not? There's a huge political standoff in the United States over that. What would it mean if the United States goes into default? And in Europe, and particularly in UK, they can't get fuel, petrol to run their vehicles. There's long lines or shortages. Why? Lack of truck drivers. We have a truck driver shortage. We have all kinds of shortages in America. that are and around the world. So this is not an American problem. This is a global problem. So I'm going to share some things with you here. Let's go in and share some websites and just kind of look at this real quick. Bing, bing, hang on, guys. Oh yeah, this is a video I did. It kind of forecast this stuff 2 years ago. I did this video, and I got roundly criticized for that. We'll go back into it in a moment. But guys, some people recently say, "Oh, Greg, none of your predictions come true." Well, guess what? That's come true, and that's the one I got attacked for the most. So you better pay attention to Green Greg's here, guys. Look at this, and this article is a few days old. This is from the 25th of September. LA port backup grows to record 62 ships as supply chain crunch worsens. Now, guys, I've heard it's 65 ships, and you hear different numbers. I hear it going up, but you know, a lot of it is due to the labor shortage and bug-related safety measures for the handling of each ship. So there's a couple of things compounding in there. There's also probably the labor shortage, maybe in part because people are real afraid to get out on that, but it's also because a lot of people were getting paid to stay at home, you know, for a while. Now a lot of that's coming to an end, but you know, I've heard that some people in some big northern states and big cities were getting as much as $80,000 a year more money to stay at home through unemployment and all the other benefits, and they were getting to go out to work. So what was their incentive? So that's a big question here. So yeah, they've got this huge backup here, guys. And this even tells us, because of products that it's not getting through, that Costco has limited the purchase of toilet paper. So you toilet paper preppers, if you plan to go to Costco and get basket loads of toilet paper, you missed that boat, guys. You missed that boat already. I can tell you, you know, it's not time to prep at the last minute, guys. Prepping is something you do ahead of time. It's not a last minute knee-jerk thing. Prepping is you plan ahead. What are you going to need? What do you use every day in your life, every month? What do you buy on a regular basis and get ready for it, especially with things that are durable? So, and I'm also heard, it's not in this article, I've also heard that the cost of shipping was originally $2,000 per container, and now they're talking about being $20,000 per container and going up. And this isn't just the West Coast, guys. Oh yeah, by the way, a lot of these longshoremen, a lot of these people operating the port of Los Angeles were getting paid better than the average salary of people in California. So some people say, well, it's all pay. There's no shortage of jobs. It's just that people aren't, or shortage of labor. It's just people aren't getting paid. Well, I don't know, guys. You know, that statistic kind of betrays that notion, along with my experience in hiring people and paying more money and not getting better results in my own experience here. And that's the darn truth. So there's a big question about that. So the thing is, there's a lot of things involved here. We'll talk about this in a little bit more. Let's just flip these articles real fast. But it's not just the West Coast, it's on the East Coast. Port lock jams reach Savannah as container ships idle off Georgia coast. This is the Wall Street Journal. The other articles from the New York Post. This is the Wall Street Journal here, guys. Some people respect this news source, okay? Although we all tend to question a lot of news sources these days. But it's the fourth largest U.S. gateway for seaborne imports, and they've got 20 to 26 vessels out there in the Atlantic Ocean just backed up. That backup measure maritime exchange of the Southern California, which has got 73 vessels this month, over 66 in this week. So it's not just they're backing up; they're there longer. I'm heard the administration was proposing, well, we'll just get everything offloaded. The problem is a lot of that stuff is perishable on these container ships, and if you just put it in storage and you don't have the provisions for the perishables, you got a problem. And that's what they're talking about in this article, is actually increasing the storage there at the Port of Savannah for stuff coming in. I'm not reading the article. I'm not do that right now. I'm just showing you these things. But that's not all going on, guys. Look here. They got a fuel crisis in UK. And this is a UK article from the Express, a UK website. But what they talk about here, they mention their own woes due to people being backed up. You know, number of drivers in UK that are having panic waves of buying, and they can't get the fuel, the petrol, as they call it over there. And but it's bigger than that. They're talking about China here, and China is also having this issue. And so what they're saying in this article is Forget the UK fuel crisis. China's energy shortage is going to spark a massive global impact. Oh yeah, by the way, the ports in China are backing up too. It's not just over the ports around the world. They're backing up, just trying to get stuff out. Now, some of this is because there's been an increased demand for shipping, but it's also because there is less people working at ports. And again, the standards for what they have to do makes it harder to process stuff. It's more difficult when you got separation requirements and a lot of other things. It's just not quite as easy as it was, my friends. But and here they're blaming China's problem on a crackdown on greenhouse gas emissions. The rising price of coal and increased demand for energy. What they're not telling you here, what you don't see in this article is that, and I read it elsewhere, is that China's biggest problem is that they quit importing Australian coal because they put an embargo on Australia to punish Australia for not towing the CCP line. And it's come back to bite China. Now, China's blaming it. Oh, we're trying to meet the 2060 objectives. Okay, it's 2021 right now. It seems like a bit of a stretch, Mr. Xi Jinping, but that's how they're trying to couch it in success word and terms. So yeah, that's the problem. They're just trying to be good guys and meet the global objectives. So they're shutting their economy down. Well, they are shutting their economy down because of political decisions that they've made. And I've said, guys, before, that a dictator isn't looking for the welfare of their people. They're looking to stay in charge. They're looking for the welfare of their power base. That's how dictators work, guys. They're looking out for numero uno, and that's it. And a party like the CCP is looking out for themselves also to stay in power, not necessarily to give the people of China what they really need. But it's also interesting that they've asked the Guangdong province to shut down their stuff. Well, why not other provinces? You know, there's some people in Guangdong who've been making voices of, hey, maybe we need to be independent from China. Guangdong has been cracked down on because they speak Cantonese there, and they've been told they got to speak Mandarin, the language of the Han Chinese. And there's some dissatisfaction about it. By the way, Guangdong and Hong Kong also speak Cantonese. So there's a lot of camaraderie between Hong Kong and Guangdong. And I dated a girl from Guangdong once. You know, it's a beautiful province. They developed quite a bit. And if they were their own country, they'd be one of the most powerful countries economically in the world. Just Guangdong. If you combine with Hong Kong, yeah, they might be going somewhere. So yeah, there are some people in Guangdong that wish they weren't part of this right here. They wish they were not underneath this man. There are people there that wish that. And so therein lies some of our hope. Economists have already slashed their forecast for China's economic growth this year. Yeah, okay. Well, see, China has two basic pillars in their economy. It's exports and real estate. Well, the real estate column is shattering, as we know from their Evergrande, because they overbuilt. You know, they got all those ghost cities. And so they thought that they could just keep spending money that way and borrowing, you know, just the future, and that just come back to haunt them. Bad investments, you might get by with it on a while, but that ghost is going to come home to get you sooner or later. The chickens got to roost at some time, and they're going to have to, they're facing that now, paying for it. And a lot of the smaller realtor companies in China are already going under, by the way. So some people think China might bail them out. Well, this man right here has been cracking down on a whole lot of the industry there. And a lot of people says, well, China won't do this, won't do that because it'll hurt their economy. This man is unilaterally taking several measures already do that. You don't forget, don't ever forget the great leap forward that China had, which is a huge leap backwards, which cost them dearly, or their cultural revolution, which cost them a lot of lives there. Don't forget these things, guys. So China is, I keep telling you, the CCP is about retaining power above all things else. But he is telling factories to shut down, particularly in Guangdong. A lot of them are doing it, but there's not just factories being told to shut down. They're actually having blackouts, as I understand. So that's the blackouts are referred to in these articles. There's several articles on these topics, guys. Now, I'm not sitting over there in that country, but I did a video talking about the language that's in the Chinese media, which seems to be focused on conflict with America. And maybe that's his ace card out to distract people from their economic woes that they're facing. Maybe he will make the grand play on Taiwan or something. Who knows? But hope not. Let's pray not. You see, Here we go. Container ships latest shock blackouts in China. See, blackouts. Factories in at least 10 Chinese provinces have either cut output or closed temporarily this month after government-imposed power cuts to cut carbon emissions. They cut carbon. It's all for a good purpose. Yeah, we're just trying to save the world. That's not been China's primary focus before. Oh, they're going to do this so they can achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. So shutting down factories is the answer. How about reorienting how you use energy? No, the problem is they're running out of coal. You know, again, like I say, this is put it in very success-oriented language, my friends, but that is not what we're saying. So let's come over here and look at this. Oops, we can't talk about this topic here because that's been verboten on this platform. Well, maybe this topic is not verboten, but this is the Hill. I'm just showing you an article from one of the most trusted papers, magazines, websites in Capitol Hill that both parties go to. If you go to the cafeterias and all the Senate and House office buildings on Capitol Hill, you're going to find this newspaper sitting all over the tables, or at least it used to back in the days when people read newspapers. When I was running the halls of Congress, I found this newspaper scattered everywhere. That's how I first encountered the Hill. And I found it to be a very interesting publication. It covers a lot of things from the political standpoint. But here's what it's talking about. It's saying we already have labor shortages in the United States. Our labor shortages are present, very acute. And it's not cute like a good look, acute, like sharp. So a shortage of labor is disrupting currently supply chains and boosting inflation, which is eating into the middle class paychecks and undermining seniors' retirement. That's what's happening right now. Rising prices are one reason consumer confidence has dropped over the past 3 months. If the slump persists, it will ultimately dampen spending. Well, no kidding, especially people being put out of work or losing their jobs. So another factor hindering our recovery is that there are too few workers. It's crippling business revenues and small farm optimism. It's hitting small companies even worse. If restaurants and stores can't hire staff, they miss out on orders and they have to shorten their hours. Well, yeah, you know, I did this video over here, this restaurant that I took the sign from. I used to like to go there and get things occasionally. I don't go there anymore because if there's one car in front of you in line, you're going to be sitting there in the drive-in for 30 minutes. I can't understand why anybody wants to go through this drive-in anymore because it just, I've been there and they told me they had 2 people at work in that restaurant, 2 people. And a lot of these places are shutting down early. And guess what? They're missing my business because I ain't got time to waste by going there, guys. I just don't have it anymore. So this is real. This is real. Let's see. Well, Anderson administration should be laser focused, not on spending money on lavish new programs, but instead on making people work, getting folks to work. And they're saying this thing here is driving people from the workforce. So this has got nothing to do with the topic of this. We're talking about people in the workforce here. Okay, let's be clear what we're talking about. So I don't get dinged for something I'm not talking about, because I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about workforce. I'm talking about labor. That is the topic of this discussion. So in New York, they're losing healthcare workers because of these things. They're talking about going in and hiring the National Guard, taking them in to take care of things that lost healthcare workers are not taken care of. But some of them are not staying on because they're being told they have to do things that they don't want to do in order to maintain their jobs. Well, I don't think this is yet the case. They're saying that this is causing one of the reasons for backups in the ports. Not yet, but it probably will be. Probably will be. Possibly will be. Because, you know, we're talking about the possibility of a lot of people that won't have a job because they just don't want to go along with things they're being told to do. Now, whether that's right or wrong is not the subject of this video. I'm just talking about workforce and economic impacts of this. All I'm talking about here for anybody looking. We're not discussing the merits or demerits of this or this. That would have to be done on a separate platform, but we are talking about the economic part of this in terms of workforce, and that is not looking good. Like many of you know, I did this video here over 2 years ago. No, well, almost 2 years ago, November the 3rd, like in about a month, 2 years ago, a couple of days, being 2 years ago, 2019. The topic of this video was, hey, if we come up with a living wage, a lot of people just aren't going to work. The workforce will go down and our economy will start to unravel because we're not getting goods and services because of that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You would have thought I was a big purple people eater because I got attacked. Ooh, did I get attacked for saying that? Oh my gosh, I got tore up. And also people tell me things I don't talk about don't come true. Guess what? We don't even have a national living wage. And this has already happened. It is happening right now. This is current news prophesied by Mr. Green Greggs here. This is a prediction that has come true. Not is coming true, it has come true. And it's becoming truer and truer. And other things are complicating this and pretend to make this worse. National disintegration, also your need for tribes and communities. So I brought that a little bit further along, talked about some other stuff here. But there you go, guys. Let me stop the share here. Shall I play some of this? Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm, coming to you from my garden on the 2nd of November with a message that you're sure to remember. I know it sounds incredible, but our nation's disintegration is inevitable. And into tribes you will have to integrate because our nation is sure to disintegrate. Hey, I was off the cuff, guys. So, yeah, I got beat up for that. I got beat up pretty good for what I had to say in that video and a couple subsequent videos I did after that, not just that one. Let's stop the share. But that's where I'm talking about it, guys. And we're there. We're there right now. And it's not looking any better the next month or two down the road, especially if a good bit of the workforce decides, I ain't taking it, and they walk off. And that's already happening in New York. It's happening right here in this country. Some states got ahead of the curve. They got ahead of what Mr. Joe said they ought to do. And that's already having impacts. So they're talking about hiring the National Guard. They're sending the National Guard in to replace trained medical workers. How well is that going to work? Some private, some spec for. It's going to replace a nurse. Wow. Maybe it'll be just fine. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're talking about in some places using the National Guard to replace truck drivers. Okay. How far are these National Guardsmen going to stretch? How many of them we got? I think there's enough to cover all this. I was in the National Guard after I got out of the Army. I joined the Army for 3 years. I extended 9 months to bring my family up to Alaska. Then I joined the National Guard. I served 2 years in the National Guard after that. So I was in the service directly as an enlisted member almost 4 years. Then I went to college. I was doing a little college all along, some before and during a service stint too. And I was already married, had a family, so I paid my own way through. It took me a little while to get that done. But my sheer determination got me there. It just proves if you're really determined to set a goal, you can get there. The odds may not be in your favor, but you can get there. You just got to keep going one day at a time, one step at a time. So all you young people who think that it's insurmountable, you can't get there, and you're being told all this gloom and doom stuff, a lot of it, I brought a lot of stuff to question, okay? But there are things to worry about. There are things that are troubling, and this is it. Supply chain is unraveling. And it's not just here, but the manufacturing aspect of it. Let's just talk about that for a second. In World War II, the United States bombed ball bearing factories. That was their main target. Ball bearing factories were their main target. They couldn't bomb everything. They had to pick something critical. Why were ball bearing factories critical? Because back in the day, and at that point in time, the key thing was machinery, devices. So we had an industrial revolution based on the internal combustion engine. And that drove trucks, trains, and tanks, and all kinds of machinery. Every machine had rotary joints, and every rotary joint needed bearings. And if you took out the ball bearings, eventually all the mobile equipment went, couldn't make it without ball bearings. Well, ball bearings are still important today. And we may see challenges in ball bearings with all the factory shipments being blocked, slowed down, getting behind, and the factory shutting down. There are going to be shortages, price increases, but it's not just ball bearings. It's already happening right now in the chip market. Today, the computer chip is the equivalent of yesterday's ball bearing. The computer chip. It's almost in everything now. Our cars need computer chips to run, not my old 76 one-ton truck. It's just fine. It don't need a computer chip. If there is an EMP, as long as there's gas. Of course, the pumps don't run because the power grid goes down. Won't be buying no gas either. So it won't run just as long as the gas lasts. Like wood gas, ding, ding, ding. Okay, that's a possibility. Yeah, preppers can figure out a way. Now, listen, guys, here's the thing. What all uses chips? Communications network, internet, computers, all the machines in our factories these days, cars. But listen, when you're not getting the chip, like cars are backing up now, they can't complete them. So factories, if you can't sell your orders because you can't get all the stuff to finish your products, what's going to happen? Factory shut down. Factory shut down, that's less goods out there. A lot of those goods aren't just consumer goods, they're things that run other factories. When the components that run in other factories get in a log jam and can't supply, then that factory's in trouble. When supplies are late, hey, you didn't get these parts because you're running a just-in-time inventory and you're out of stuff. Well, you got to shut down, and that ship finally gets to the dock and you get it in. But it's not just the ship waiting at port getting the dock. You got to find a trucker to bring it to you. Once they get it unloaded and ready to go, you got to find somebody that's going to deliver it to you. And truckers are in shortage too right now. Then you got to have your own people in your factory to do the work and make this stuff come together. Well, that's in shortage too. So there's a lot of shortages right now. A lot of things happening. And this is where we're looking at perhaps a great unraveling. Perhaps. And like I said, you look at China, what's their two big pillars? Export and that real estate thing. The real estate thing got over speculated. Poof. And what they're doing, they're shutting down factories right now. I don't mean it's the end of China. North Korea, what do? They just make weapons. And their people are dirt poor, starving to death. Oh, they sure make weapons, though. So China ain't out of the game. They're maybe just changing it. Remember, they did go through that great leap forward. Stuck back quite a bit. And the Cultural Revolution. Wow. It stamped culture pretty hard, didn't it? So there you go, my friends. It does have economic consequences. It could have military consequences too. The Xi Jinping wants to stay in power more than anything else. He may need something to distract his people. One, he'll blame it on us somehow or another. But he's telling the world he's been a good guy. It's more shut factories. Now I got to be good. I got to do this so we can get ready for something that's going to be 39 years away. 39 years, we got to reach this goal. So we got to shut everything down right now. Okay. Wow. Thank you, Xi Jinping. You're such a nice guy. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. It's really funny how all those rags just paired to that. Just like that. But I have read elsewhere that the problem is the lack of coal they can't get, only because they put Australia on embargo and won't buy from Australia. See, the political objectives trump the economic objectives in that world. Something Americans just can't fathom. I've had so many people, China won't do that because they don't wreck the economy or do this and do that. They want to invade Taiwan because of how big economic impact. I've had several people tell me that. And yet, look, Xi Jinping shut down $1 trillion industry in high tech. He shut down gaming. He shut down all kinds of things. He's changing the culture right now, big time inside that country. And all the little social media, all the little updates they get daily on their phones, little reminders, pop-ups through the state controlled media is U.S. bad guy. It's all U.S. fault. U.S. is attacking us. That's what they're getting. So we know Well, it's not exactly true, but it's the propaganda that countries put out before they do big bad things often. Let's hope big bad things don't happen. Let's hope there's some calmer heads see through this and turn things around over there. It's always possible. You know, Nikita Khrushchev came to the United States and beat the shoe on the podium, and he told us he was going to bury us. And when he got home, he didn't have a job. Well, it's not a very Sun Tzu way to play. Don't tell him what you're going to do, Millie. General Millie. All right, so there you go, my friends. Here's the thing: the economy in the United States and the whole world is at grave risk. These things can unravel, and it's compounding, it's building up. It's not coming to the solution anytime soon. And when you look at, we haven't even felt the bow shock of all these factories shutting down in China. These are resources that for materials and products that our factories use to run, and stuff that you buy for your welfare or your fun. You know, a lot of toys, a lot of games. Ho, ho, ho. Christmas may be different this year. So saith Santa Claus. Hey, you know, there was a time when, you know, a stick was a good toy. You can't push many buttons on a stick, right? Unless it's a joystick. Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah, they used to make soldiers out of sticks and airplanes. And, I had a big imagination. Yeah, a stick could have been all kind of things. Depending on how you break it, how you look at. Oh yeah, I got me a guy here. I remember those days. Man, might be only some of us older guys and gals remember those days, playing with sticks, stones, making stuff out of mud. Not so we didn't have a few toys, but nothing like kids today. All right, so there you are, guys. This is a real concern. This is something to pay attention to, because our economy is on the precipice. China, what's going to happen? With debt ceiling, and even if it gets passed, we're going to have problems down the road, because you know the spending side of it, and the spending side is something unbelievable. How long can we keep spending like this and everything will be okay? Especially when our tax base is went, but our spending is going. Country's lopsided, guys. It smells trouble down the road. It smells a lot of trouble. But yeah, I didn't say it, did I? I don't know, my predictions ever come true for some people. You know, I hope most of the things I bring will never come true. I pray vehemently, fervently. Please, please, please don't let this happen. And I ask you guys to do the same thing. But we're in a tight, and things are coming at us in every direction right now. Of course, it might be the way to somebody way up the ladder at that big red button. It says, cross the button, reset. What's cooking? Why is it cooking? Don't know. But we're in for a rough ride. Best thing you can do is take care of yourself, your family, get prepared as much as you can. It's an investment. With inflation going away, all this stuff's an investment. Preps will be worth gold down the road. It's a good investment. Be prepared. But get skills. Learn how to do things. Learn how to do things that don't require electrical power. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be getting some nice geomagnetic storms tonight. So if you're up north, you might see it. Go out and watch the aurora borealis tonight. It'll be a good sight. Make sure you take your camera. One of these days, the storms may be big enough that the lights go out. A lot of articles like, oh, the internet may go down. Yeah, and that would be catastrophic since we're so dependent on the internet these days. But we're going to talk about maybe the whole power grid, not just internet. All right, my friends. But hey, we should have hardened this grid. I've been covering it for several years now. Hopefully we'll find a way to get that done. Just hope that there's enough of an eye opener or something small before we get hit by the full enchilada. Maybe something to wake us up. Oh yeah, that power thing in California, the power stuff in Texas. That has a woke us up yet, has it? All right, guys. Talk to your congressman. Make some racket. We gotta keep this world running somehow. We hope. Anyway, well, that I'm just gonna say thank you for watching.